Okay, this video we're going to go over how to complete the Unit 1 worksheet, and I'm going to try to make one of these every single week. And so this will be going over the Unit 1 worksheet and also the Excel workbook. So let's go ahead and share my screen. So I'm going to share this screen right here. And in order to be able to download the worksheet, um, let's go to home. Um, we're going to go to Unit 1 Descriptive Statistics. And when you go to Unit 1 Descriptive Statistics, you're going to have the textbook right here. I do have the first chapter here because I know that you guys might need a little bit of help getting started. You might not have ordered it yet, but please do buy the book. It's a really good book and it's really not that expensive. And then you've got your lectures that go over the information, the types of variables, so on and so forth. And then coming down here, you've got the 1-1-1 and 1-1-2 descriptive statistics overview worksheet. And so for every single week, I give you one worksheet, but it's split between two parts. And so some worksheets might only be 2 pages, some worksheets might be longer than that. Just be aware that it is one file, and with that one file, you're going to be able to download that one file and complete it. And so coming through here, we're going to look, okay, we've got the definitions. That's really great. To be really honest with you, the first unit is almost all definitions. And so there's just a lot of information that you should probably write it down. I mean, I've already got it written all down for you, and I tried really hard to break it up into things that are, um, that are similar. So like these two are similar, these four are similar. Dichotomous variable is similar to these, but not the same. And so just be aware of that. And so your learning content, you've got 3 lectures. I'm actually going to be changing lectures up a little bit, and so I might, obviously I'm adding this lecture right here. And the reason why I'm adding this lecture is because my students last semester very specifically said, hey, towards the end of the semester, you gave us tutorials on how to do the homework. And we really liked that a lot, and it was really helpful. But at the beginning of the semester, we were kind of lost and we didn't know whether or not we were doing the right thing. So this is me giving you a tutorial on how to do it, and I'm going to try my best to give you a tutorial on how to do the homework every single week. It'll just be a quick, hey, here's a quick example, and go from there. That way you don't feel completely lost, like you don't know what you're doing. All right, so like I said, you should have already watched the lectures. And so give one real world example of each of the following. Like for instance, qualitative data. So if you look at the lectures, you can say, okay, Professor Eide is wearing a blue shirt. Okay. The fact that it's a blue shirt, it's a description. It is a quality of what I am or what I'm wearing. So therefore, this is a blue shirt. So quantitative data. The average score on the exam was a 95.4. That's pretty high. Let's do 85, 85.4. So that is quantitative data. And please use a different example than what I'm giving. This is just an example of how to do it correctly. Dichotomous data, once again, this is something that students have struggled with. But the truth is, dichotomous is really easy. You can literally make anything into dichotomous. So check this out. I'm either holding a water bottle or I'm not. Dichotomous. I'm either recording a lecture or I'm not. Dichotomous. I'm either male or female. Dichotomous. I either am above 6 foot tall or I'm below 6 foot tall. That's also dichotomous. Anything where there's only 2 possible outcomes, that's dichotomous. Okay. And then nominal ordinal, interval, and ratio. Make sure that you pay attention to that lecture. But for instance, give an example of nominal data. So nominal data, once again, is something that doesn't have any order. It's qualitative. So these are both qualitative. The nominal doesn't have any order. So for instance, nominal data is in class, there are, um, let's say, 17 males and 18 females. Um, and so that right there is nominal. It is also dichotomous, but it is nominal. There is no, it is qualitative, and there is no order. So females doesn't go before males, males doesn't go before females. It's nominal. The other thing could be there are 7 blue shirts, 8 red shirts, 3 yellow shirts, or something to that effect. Or there are 4 MIS majors, there are 6 marketing majors, there are 2 accounting majors, and so those are also nominal. So ordinal, this would be, for instance, the individuals coming in first, second, and third place in a race. That's ordinal. Interval is anything that doesn't have a meaningful zero. So I use the example of year, and also like time of day. Uh, there's also like SAT scores and ACT scores. But anything, oh, also temperature, those are all ordinal. So try to find, give a good example of ordinal, a good real world example. Interval and then ratio is, what we see most often, which is just any sort of real number that you can do real legit math with, multiplication, division, so on and so forth. So think of any kind of like word problem that has multiplication and division, and that's most likely ratio data. So interval data you can add and subtract. Ratio data, you can multiply and divide. Okay. Label the following as a sample or population. The big thing here is, are you taking part of the whole, or are you taking the whole? A big keyword there is the word all. So I'll tell you right now, when you see this right here, when you see the word all, that means that you're dealing with the population. When you're dealing with part, that means that you're dealing with a sample. So that's a good little key there. Um, and then coming down here, once again, you've got, oh, don't worry about this. This says group work. This isn't actually group work. This was last semester when we had Zoom meetings. I had you guys break up into groups. But if you wanted to, you could talk about this in your group, and talk about, okay, what's a population that you would like to gain insight about? So, for instance, all of the students at Baylor, or all of the business students, both would be a population. Because you're dealing with all the business students, or all the students at Baylor, or all the students in QBA, or all the students in Professor Eide's class. All of those would be populations, because it's all of those, even though each one is significantly smaller. Because you've narrowed it down and said we're looking at all of this very specific population, that would be a population. But it doesn't just have to be people. It could also be, all of the soccer balls that are, in MLS games, or all of the footballs that Tom Brady throws. And the reason why I say Tom Brady is because we want to make sure that they're inflated. I guess I'm not the biggest Tom Brady fan. I'm a Packers fan, so yeah. Okay, so that would be the population. And so give an example of a sample from that population. So for instance, if we're dealing with Tom Brady's footballs, it would be, you know, 3 random footballs from random games. So we randomly choose 3 footballs per game, which I have no clue how many footballs they have, but I would assume that it's more than 3. You randomly grab 3 footballs per game, and survey those, check those to make sure that they're all inflated properly. Um, and so that would be a sample. Um, and then what is a construct in that population of interest? So a construct from that population of interest. So we're looking at the footballs, and the construct would, I guess, be um, this one's a little bit more difficult because we're looking at footballs. I wasn't thinking this all the way through, but the construct would be firmness, I guess. Firmness, which would include inflation, weather, so on and so forth. But the construct would be firmness, and it's composed of several different factors that contribute to the firmness of the football. And then, yeah, you can talk in your group about other constructs as well when you do meet as a group. Um, so that is how you would do that. And I'm going to share the screen one more time. Um, and coming down here, you're going to also have Excel workbooks. So you've got two Excel workbooks, and I am going to make another video on the Excel workbooks.